So hello everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial Bikacho by Bikacho Group. And basically this particular video is going to cover SQL Server keys. Now let's move on to the next slide and check what are the topics we are going to discuss today. Okay, so what are keys in SQL Server? So basically in SQL Server, keys plays a crucial role in managing and maintaining the integrity of a relational database. So basically keys are the set of attributes that used to identify the specific row in a table and to find or create the relation between two or more tables. That is, keys identify the rows by combining one or more columns. SQL provides super key, primary key, candidate key, alternate key, foreign key, compound key, composite key, and the surrogate key. So basically, what are the types of keys in SQL Server? So below are the types which we have in SQL Server. So number one is the primary key, second one is the foreign key, then we have the unique key, then we have the composite key, then candidate key, then alternate key, then surrogate key, and at last composite foreign key. Now let's move on the next and discuss each of the keys one by one. So basically, what are primary keys? So primary keys are the keys which uniquely identifies each record in a table and ensures that no duplicate value or null value are allowed in the column designated as the primary key. So in the below table example, you can see email ID is the column which is selected as the primary key and it does not support any null value and it has all the value unique. Now move on to the next one. So next we have the foreign key. So foreign key establishes a relationship between two tables and points to the primary key or unique key in another table, enforcing referential integrity. Okay, so referential integrity means if the primary key column doesn't have that particular value, so that particular value we will not be able to provide in the foreign key column of the child table. Okay, so basically here we have the two tables like customer table and orders table. We have in customer table you can see customer ID and in orders table you can see customer ID. So orders table customer ID is referencing the primary key column ID of the customer table and creating a foreign key relationship between both of the table to maintain the referential integrity. Now move on to the next one. So next we have the unique key. So unique key ensures all values in a column or combination of columns are unique. Unlike a primary key, a table can have multiple unique keys and they allow one null value. So basically unique keys can provide one null value and they will they will keep all the data unique. Okay, so here in the below example you can see we have the unique key email ID column which is providing all the unique value and also it can contain a single null value but only one null value. Okay, now move on to the next one. So next we have the composite key. So what composite key will do? Composite key combines two or more columns to uniquely identify a row in a table, and it is useful when a single column isn't sufficient to serve as a unique identifier. So if in a table a single column is unable to make the table as unique, so we can choose a group of column to make them unique. So basically in the below example you can see order ID column we have and the product ID column we have. So both are non-unique if we check single, but the combination of both of them is creating a uniqueness. So order ID and product ID together form a composite key to uniquely identify each row. Okay, now next one what we have? Next one we have the candidate key. So candidate key is a set of columns that can qualify as a unique identifier for rows in the table. Okay, one candidate key is chosen as the primary key while other can be unique key. Okay, so if multiple columns we have which are presenting the table as a unique which are uniquely providing rows to a table, then that particular columns are called candidate keys, and among those candidate keys one column is considered as the primary key. So here in our example we can see student ID and roll number both are uniquely defining the table, but among this we can choose student ID as the primary key or roll number as the primary key. So both of them are creating a candidate key. Okay, now move on to the next one. So next we have the alternate key. So any candidate key that is not chosen as the primary key becomes an alternate key. So in the below example you can see SSN number and the passport number both are unique and can be a primary key, but if SSN number is the primary key then passport number will become an alternate key. Okay, now move on to the next one. So next we have the surrogate key. So surrogate key is an artificial column of a numeric value created to serve as a unique identifier, typically used when no natural key exists or when a more efficient key is needed. So basically the best example for surrogate key is the identity column you can take. So basically user ID in our table below we have user ID, which is chosen as the surrogate key and artificial key added for uniqueness. Okay. Now move on to the next one. So next we have the composite foreign key. So a foreign key that consists of two or more columns referencing a composite primary key in another tables. Okay. So basically here we have the three tables in our example: order table, product table, and order detail table. So in order detail table, you can see order ID and product ID are the foreign keys. So order ID is referencing the order ID from the orders table, and product ID is referencing the product ID from the product table. So this is called the composite foreign key. Now one important point for the keys. So keys in SQL Server ensures that data in the database remains consistent, valid, and properly linked, forming the backbone of the relational database management system. Okay, thank you for watching, and like, share, and subscribe, and more videos are coming on the way. Thank you very much.